Hello, happy Monday, everyone. I hope that you had a really, really lovely weekend. We did on Saturday, we took two of our sons to go to see Worcester University, and then yesterday we just had a really nice kind of time at home. We took the dogs for a walk in some local woods. My youngest made a Christmas wreath then with stuff that we'd got from the woods. We had a roast and watched a film together, so it was really, really lovely, especially after the craziness of Nano. If you haven't been to my channel before, or you haven't been to any of my live feeds, my name is Emma Bennet. I am a romance author from the UK, and I also write the occasional children's picture book. I have come up with my own original tag to do today. It is the End of Nano tag. I just felt inspired to do it, and I'd never done a tag, I made up a tag before, so I thought this could be quite fun, and I hope that people will like it and will want to do it. So anybody who is here who has, well, even if you haven't done Nano actually, you are very welcome to do the tag. Consider yourself tagged if you are watching this live or if you're catching it on the replay. Make sure that if you are watching this live that you introduce yourself in the chats, and I think I've got 10 questions and I'm going to be putting them one by one at the bottom of the screen, and I'll be answering them, and it would be really lovely to get some feedback from people in the chat as well, so that it's more of a little back and forth. I was hoping to be able to have another author tuber on here with me, but I think it's not a great time for a lot of people, especially in the US. It's a bit early in the morning, and that's fair enough. I don't expect you to come on and do a tag video and be all entertaining at 8 o'clock in the morning. I know I definitely couldn't do that. So yeah, why don't we get started and have a look at the first question that I've got for today. Right, so the first question, and please feel free to answer it in the chat and give your views in the chat. The question is, what made you decide to attempt NaNoWriMo this year? Well, last year, I think I was vaguely aware of NaNoWriMo. I was beginning to watch some kind of AuthorTube content and really enjoying it by definitely by bigger AuthorTubers like Kate Kavanagh and Bethany Atazada and people like that. And so I had heard some talk of NaNoWriMo and thought that those people were completely bonkers. And then I think I started my YouTube channel in March this year. So then in April, it was Camp Nano, and I felt a little bit left out because although it's not as big as NaNoWriMo, there were lots of people talking about it and doing the updates, and I thought it sounded really, really good fun. And then again, less so in July for the, I'm not sure what it's called in July actually. Is it also called Camp Nano? But yeah, there were people doing that. So when it was coming up to kind of September, I was like, I need to do NaNoWriMo, even if I only do it once. It just sounds like such good fun that I need to attempt it at least once. And if I don't get anywhere with it, it doesn't really matter. At least I would have tried. So question number 2 is, how many times have you attempted NaNoWriMo previously? This year was my first year attempting NaNoWriMo, and as well as that, it was my first time attempting to write anywhere near that amount of words, anywhere near as quickly. I typically am not a writer with huge word counts, usually 1,000 words a day. I'm completely happy with that. And I definitely wouldn't even do that for 30 days in a row because of other commitments and things. So probably the most I've ever written in a month is maybe 20, 25,000. So we were talking more than double that. So it was a big undertaking for me, and I genuinely didn't know how it would go. And if I had any chance at all of being able to succeed with it. Right, question number 3. Did you prep during Preptober? Yes, I did. I didn't do enough prep during Preptober. I started off and I had my my book, which is actually here, because I'm going to be doing some work on the manuscript after I finish doing this. And basically, I did what I would normally do when I'm starting to write a book. I always have a notebook, like a story Bible, if you like, with a breakdown of all the characters and things like their age, their hair color, their surnames, who they're related to. And then I also have sketches of, if they live in a village, for example, and the village is important to the story, I will sketch out the village. I will also sketch out their homes so that I know, for example, if they're storming out of the dining room, that they're going to be walking into the sitting room or into the hallway, that kind of thing. And then as well as that, I did plotting of the story, because I've always considered myself to be a plotter. And I thought that I was pretty well organized, although I did think, do you know what, this really hasn't taken up like a lot of my time in Preptober. Turns out that's because I didn't prep enough. Because I've never written this fast before, I didn't realize how much I actually work out as I go along. While I have the general storyline plotted out, there's a lot that I'm making up as I go along. And trying to write faster, I found that difficult, and I had to keep kind of stopping and coming back. So I do actually wish that I'd prepped a little bit more. Let me just check the chat, because I can see, oh, that's so nice. That is Ben. Ben Pick from Running to Write says, good morning. Ben has just had his second book published, and he had like a big party for it on YouTube a couple of days ago, which can still be seen. If you go to his channel, Running to Write, there's the live still up there if you want to kind of find out more about his book. Yeah, so yeah, let me know, like, how much prepping did you do? If you did NaNoWriMo, did you do a lot of prepping? Or if you're a pantster, did you literally just on the 1st of November go, right, there you go, I'm going to start writing? Because I mean, you must do some planning, because you can't literally just sit down and go, I'm going to write a story without knowing any of the characters or anything. So there must be an element of planning to it, I think. So question number 4, what resources helped you during NaNoWriMo? I don't use anything like Scrivener or anything like that. I'm very basic. I've got pen and paper and then Google Docs usually. I was having a lot of trouble with my Wi-Fi, which was really annoying. So occasionally I did have to go properly old school and write in like just a text program. And then once my Wi-Fi sorted itself out, like copy and paste that into the Google Docs. I did use the NaNoWriMo website a lot to update my word count, which I found really, really good, because I'm somebody who loves graphs and I love to see how much I've done and how much I've still got to do. I can't believe that there are people who are just like, oh, I've forgotten to update the Nano website for like the last 8 days. It's like, how? But you could have missed a batch. How? But the single thing that helped me the most during NaNoWriMo was that I started doing my live streams about, I don't know, I think it was at the end of the first week. I was really, really nervous because I'd never done live streams before. So I kind of put it off. And then I thought, I need to get my big girl pants on. And I did. And it made such a difference because I was doing them every day for like 3 hours, and I had to have my bum in chair and be writing for 3 hours. And that is what made the biggest difference to me, is having that accountability. Ben says, I did not do Nano, too busy editing and getting book 2 out, but in general I am a massive plotter. I have pages and pages of outline before starting. Yeah, that sounds like if you did attempt Nano next year, that you would actually be very good at it. And yeah, it does. I mean, it does make a difference what stage you are at in your writing journey as to whether you can do Nano, whether you can fit it in, because, you know, like Ben says, if he's busy bringing a book out and doing final edits and things like that, well, you have to focus on that. You can't divide your attention up so much that you're not able to do the things you have to do, if you like. That was another thing that I was worried about. I was worried that I just genuinely wouldn't have enough time. Right, question number 5. What problems did you face? Okay, so the problems I faced were dodgy Wi-Fi. That was definitely a complete pain in the bum. Not having planned quite enough, just because I'd never done it before. And also just writing so much faster than I'm used to. There were days when when I got over, I think there was only one day actually when I got over 3,000 words, but that is a lot for me. And it was moving the story forward too quickly to the point where I was like, whoa, 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 like it's gone off on a curve, and I need to bring it back because I need certain things to happen. And I was writing and I'm like, no, wait, this isn't how this character would react to the situation. I'm not writing the character. I don't know what I'm writing. I'm writing a different character. They've gone through this, they've gone through this, they've gone through this. They would not react to this in that way. So then I would have to kind of go back and rewrite that section according to how that character would actually write. And that wouldn't normally happen to me if I was writing at my usual pace, because, you know, it's kind of slow and steady and you've got time to think about it more. Laura Gomez has popped in. Hi, Laura. Laura Gomez came along to a lot of the sprints and was so supportive. She says, I find myself updating word count pretty much after every paragraph. I get too excited. Yeah, I was doing, when we were doing the sprints, I was trying to remember to update it after each sprint, because I think that's really useful to see how much you can write in the 20 minutes. But also, yeah, it makes you feel better, doesn't it? If you're like, okay, that's another like 200 or 300 words down. And then, you know, you're seeing other people and they're getting more. So, I mean, I'd never be able to do kind of 1,000 words in 20 minutes like some people were doing. But if I was only managing like 120, I might be like, okay, come on, like we need to sort ourselves out here, because, you know, there's people who are getting, you know, kind of, yeah, up to 1,000. What I found is about 300 words for each 20-minute sprint was quite good for me. And and Linny's here as well. Linny Sprinkles. Hi, Linny. How's it going? Let me know how your writing's going, because I know that you're still working on your manuscript, which is going to be huge. Yeah, so let me know how that's going. Right, now where were we? Right, so question number 6, my favorite question. What was your favorite NaNoWriMo beverage and snack? Right, I was trying not to like have loads of snacks and things, but I was definitely snacking more. I think it's one of those things kind of when you're just sat, and because it's cold as well, you do just snack more. You do. I wonder if that's the same for everybody who does NaNoWriMo, but yeah, I did. I tried to keep it fairly healthy. With granola bars were my thing of choice, because they're kind of quite satisfying with the crunch, and they do fill you up a bit, don't they? And then loads and loads of tea and coffee just on tap, especially the tea, because it's chilly. It is chilly. Your fingers, if nothing else, get cold when you're typing. So having like a nice mug to wrap around. Oh, this is my Christmas mug. Isn't this so cute? It's got the Christmas pug on it. I love it. But my kids keep stealing it, which is what basically happens with everything in my house. Let's have a little look here. We've got some things in the chat. So Linny says, the problems I faced during Nano is that I hadn't prepped beforehand, as I did Nano 2022 as my first and on a whim. So I was planning a lot as I wrote. Yeah. And it wasn't a whim for me, but I definitely should have done more planning. That would have made it a lot easier. Ben says 300 words in a 20-minute sprint are great. Yeah, and it was. And I was really, really happy with that. It's just if I was kind of like faffing around and only getting kind of 120 or something like that, unless I was actually dealing with a proper plot problem, which was the case sometimes, you know, it was like, okay, come on, we can. And it was pushing me to concentrate and to do better, which really, really helped. He says, regardless of how far other people can get done. Yeah, completely. I mean, I know that there would be no point in me trying to write, 800-900 words in 20 minutes. It just wouldn't work for me at all. I wouldn't want to write that fast anyway. It wouldn't make any sense. It would literally be, I am a fish, I am a fish, I am a fish. You've got to work at your own pace, haven't you? Linny says, it's going well. I had 2 2K days and 1 3K day, but I'm starting to hit a slump with some necessary chapters. I will be doing my live streams on Thursday and Friday this week at the usual time, Linny, if you want to drop in. I'm going to actually be reading through my Nano manuscript, ready to do a video on what I think about it. So yeah, it'd be lovely to see you there. And Lily says, my favorite drinks were coffee and tea. I didn't eat too much when I wrote. Yeah, I did. I definitely did. I was snacking a lot. Right. Okay, so question number 7. Did you enjoy your NaNoWriMo experience? I really, really did. I did have a definite slump in the 3rd week. And I was struggling to get the word counts that I wanted. At that point, I think it was half of it was the story that I was struggling with the story at that point, but also half of it was just like, I'd been doing it for quite a while, and, you can only sustain it for so long. And the whole month, I only took 2 days off. I had planned that I could take up to 10 days off and still write 2,500. If I wrote 2,500 words a day, then I would be able to take 10 days off if I needed to, if something happened. Luckily, I didn't get sick. There were no family emergencies or anything. So I took 1 day off for my dog's birthday when we took him out for the day, and I took another complete day off to take my boys to go to see a university. And once I started doing the sprints, I was only needing to write for generally the 3 hours that I was doing the sprints was fine for me to get my word count. Sometimes it would go up to kind of 3.5 hours, 4 hours. So I still had plenty of time in the day to, to spend with my kids and do all the other things that I needed to do, although it was still quite a big portion of the day. But I did feel so proud of myself, when I was seeing I was actually doing it, because I genuinely hadn't been sure if I would be able to hit those kinds of word counts. And I was worried that if I got behind, people do 10K days, and that's just amazing, but I just can't see myself realistically being able to do that. So I was genuinely worried that if I fell behind, I wouldn't be able to catch up again. But luckily I didn't. And I was just so proud of myself when I actually did it, when I completed an entire first draft. That was really, really great. Let's see, it's in the chat. And Linny says, I really enjoyed my Nano experience. The live streams here made it feel less lonely and less tiresome when I wanted to crank out some words. Yeah, you definitely, it was such a nice community feel. There were loads of the same people coming by every day. So that was really, really nice, because it was like, okay, how are you doing? You're having a rough day? Oh, never mind. Or kind of, celebrating. You definitely didn't feel as alone, kind of stuck there staring at your document, not quite sure where to go with it next. Right. Question number 8, did you win NaNoWriMo? I did win NaNoWriMo. My goal was the 50,000 words, but on top of that, I wanted to have a complete first draft from beginning to end. So I actually hit the 50K mark. I think it was on like the 26th, something like that, like the 25th or the 26th. But I didn't consider that I'd properly won until the 30th, when I properly got to the end of my manuscript and I had a complete first draft. And it was something like, I think it was 55,514 words that I ended up writing. So yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. Question number 9 was, what was your final word count for NaNoWriMo? Oh, I just answered that, didn't I? Yeah, 55,514. I'm fairly sure that that's what it was, which was absolutely brilliant. So by the time I've added extra in, I'm expecting that book to be close to 60,000 words long, which is a really good length for me. My words are my books, because they're romances, they're contemporary romances. They're typically shorter than, like, you know, big, thick fantasy books. They're typically between kind of 55 and 60,000 words. So I am more than happy with that. Laura says, I'm planning to finish the book in Camp Nano in April. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm already thinking that I will want to do Camp Nano as well, but I've got another project in mind. One thing that I will not do, though, is I'm not going to vlog every day. That was the most tiresome bit of Nano, honestly, and the hardest bit, because the lighting is just so bad here at night. It's really, really hard to film at night. And by the time I'd actually kind of definitely finished writing for the day, and I could kind of say what I got up to and things, like sometimes, I think the latest one I did was 11:45 at night. I was really tired. The last thing I wanted to do was film. So that's one thing that I definitely wouldn't do again. I would just do like a weekly kind of roundup or something like that, rather than daily. What I did was I was filming every day, and then I was putting them together into videos with kind of 4 or 5 days together. But I definitely wouldn't do that. It was too much. I can't believe that there are people who do that and then go on to do Vlogmas afterwards. Brilliant. Lily says, I'm not sure I'll do another Nano. I think it depends on whether or not I get another story I want to write. Fair enough. I'm lucky in that I have a lot of stories that I want to write. I've got a whole ideas file full of books, and hopefully a publisher that wants to publish quite a few of them. So I won't know for definite what I feel about the writing that I actually did until I read through my manuscript in the next few days, so that I can see what kind of standard it's at, because I'm still a little bit worried that because I was working so fast, it's just not going to be as good a first draft as I'm used to producing. So although it will have saved me time, I don't want to have to add on like extra time and stress, because it's just not as good as a normal first draft. So that will be interesting to see. But I think, yeah, if it's even half decent, it's a much faster way to write. And so fun to have the whole community and everything there with me. And then the final question of my tag is, will you be attempting NaNoWriMo next year? And the answer is absolutely yes. You know, as long as I feel that I've got the time to be able to do it, you know, it should be fine. I mean, yeah, the other thing I was worried about this year that I'd even forgotten about is because my publisher is republishing several of my books, I was being sent edits and stuff like that during October, and I knew that there were going to be some coming in November as well. And I was like, oh my goodness, like if I get sent any major edits and they're going to take a couple of days to do, that's really going to mess me up with Nano. So that was the other reason why I wanted to make sure that I was able to take several days off if I needed to. As it happens, I can't remember exactly what edits I was sent actually during November, but there really wasn't anything, like it wasn't a big deal. I was sent some fiddly stuff towards the end of Nano on like the 28th, but I just said to my editor that I wouldn't be able to do it until after Nano, and she was fine with that. And then I did it on Friday, wasn't it, the 2nd? Yeah, I got them done then during the live stream, and that was absolutely fine. But yeah, I probably would have struggled if I had something like that. So I guess it will depend on other workload, but because I obviously won't be republishing like a load more books at the same time next year, so hopefully I will be free of that as well. So it should be fine for me to be able to fit it in, yeah, with a bit of luck. And yeah, kind of, well, I'm definitely looking forward to Camp Nano and planning how I'm going to do that. Loads of live streams, definitely. That really, really helped. there we go. So that is all my questions for this tag. I hope that you enjoyed them, and please consider yourself tagged. It would be so lovely to hear other people's answers to these questions. Make sure that you tag me in the description of your video if you do end up doing this tag, because yeah, I would really, really love to see them. I'm going to head off now, and I'm going to start reading through the manuscript that I wrote for NaNoWriMo. So wish me luck with that. Yeah, oh, fingers crossed that it's good is all I can say. Yeah, if you are someone who has a YouTube channel, and if you haven't already, I have a Facebook group. It's called AuthorTubers Helping AuthorTubers. It's just a really small, friendly group where we all kind of help each other out and support each other, and are happy to answer really daft questions. So go and check it out if you are interested, and we would love to have you there. And I will catch you in my next video, which will hopefully be me reacting to my manuscript, with a bit of luck. So yeah, I will see you again very soon. Oh, and I've also got my live sprints coming on Thursday and Friday. So if you've got some work to do, make sure that you pop along to those.